Yep. What? Hey, what's up? Urban Politics. We're in the building. Let me get my notes and such together before I come to you with this delicious political, lyrical, miracle whip. What you're hearing right now, this is on my man P.I. the Bum's album. Fresh little joint right there. But once again, that ain't what you're here for. That's nice and all. I love hip-hop. But we're not here for the hip-hop. Nah. We're here for something else. We're here for the politics. And let's go ahead and get started with it. No need to wait any longer. Let's go ahead and do it. Number one, let's talk about the post office, the USPS. The GOP is using it once again to undermine the vote, sad to say. And we're just gonna call it what it is, man. That's what they're doing. You know, and like I said, I don't even think this is anything new. I bet this has been in the work for a while. Give me a minute, walk with me on it. DeJoy, that's what you can call him. That's the guy who was put in control of the post office. He's the master general or whatever they call him. And he was a big donor to Trump. That's the reason why he got the job, that's crazy right there. That shouldn't be legal, but it is. So that's the reason why he's got the job. DeJoy, I call him the joyless butthole that's messing up the USPS, but you can call him DeJoy. Anyway, he's taking over 700 mail sorting machines out of the post offices around America. Why would you do that? It's more like 680 some, but I went ahead and rounded it up because that's just ridiculous. Basically, he's taking away 700 mail sorting machines right now when we need them the most because we have an election coming up. Or did he forget that? Or did he not know that? That's why I'm like, this is by grand design. This ain't by no accident. So there's that. He's getting rid of 700 mail sorting machines. And then this guy is getting rid of mailboxes all over the place. I had seen some stuff on Instagram. I'm sure you probably seen it too. People posting pictures about how you could see a truck going around. I think it was in Portland, Oregon, or some of these places, and just picking up mailboxes, putting them in this truck and taking them Lord knows where and why. I had seen some article where the guy, the joyless idiot, DeJoy, is going to say that this is cut down on gas from trucks that they use to go around to these different mailboxes, so it cuts down on money for the post office. That's stupid. I don't believe that. The problem with the U.S. Postal Service is, I guess, years ago they ran at a profit. They were making a profit. But then the Republican Party, they pushed like some legislation that made it to where they had to fund benefits up to 75 years. So basically, they had to fund benefits of workers that weren't even working at the post office yet. That's weird. And then they're the only government agency that had to do this. And I guess the Republicans did it when they had control over stuff like that. That's why I'm like, oh, this is by grand design. They planned this. But this is actually very smart. For years, we know they've wanted to mess with the vote. For years, they've been trying to mess with the vote. They always verbally do it. He was already poo-pooing mail-in voting. So now they're doing this. And I'm like, this is a smooth way of getting at the vote. If you don't want a lot of, or, how about not even, with this way, you don't even have to control votes or how many people vote because you're messing up how the votes even end up getting counted and stuff like that. So it's that right there is really smart. I mean, I'm just I'm looking at it politically because of course in my heart of hearts I'm like, man, these are some evil mofos. Who does this? Who messes with the integrity of the vote in America? The Republican Party. So here we go with this. So I mean, that is what it is. That's really, really sad. I guess that's really what's holding this whole stimulus up. Maybe you saw it in the news. They kept talking about how Trump actually, does a press conference and he just says it out of his mouth like, yeah, that's why I'm not funding them, because if you're not funded, then, you can't be ready for the mail-in voting that'll happen. And since the mail-in voting is fraudulent, I'm not going to fund them so that they can, have this fraudulent mail-in voting. Blah, 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 blah. That's garbage. That's garbage. But that's his, that's his rationale for it or whatever. That's what he tells the American people. And, if you're stupid enough to believe that, whatever. You know what I'm saying? I got some swampland I want to sell you in Florida if you're stupid enough to believe that. But that it is what it is. And they're saying that's what's holding up the second round of stimulus anyway. But then he'll probably sign an executive order to push it through anyway because he's hoping to buy some of your votes with that second round of stimulus. So there's that. Moving on. And more stupid face mask news. yeah, this is a thing, because we got a president who made wearing a face mask a culture war instead of it just being about public health, which is about what it's about. But anyway, for other people, it's about more than that, which is really stupid. I heard about some restaurant somewhere where the guy was kicking people out if they were wearing a mask, overcharging people if they are wearing a mask. That's ridiculous. I was somewhere not too long ago, a very public place. Everybody is, waiting in this waiting room. This guy comes in. It was a doctor's office. This guy comes in, not wearing a mask. Come on, we're in a doctor's office. They want you to wear a mask. He ain't wearing a mask. He starts going off on a nurse who came over and just asked him, "Sir, we asked that you wear a mask. Why I gotta wear an effing mask? And why the F am I still here?" And then it just started tripping. Then I start thinking this whole mask really is giving carte blanche to people who are just douchebags anyway, and it's giving them a reason to expand on their douchebaggery. So that's what a lot of this is done. But it also turned it into a culture war. Now you're what I'm saying, you're a strong conservative man or woman if you're fighting the powers that be and exercising your rights and your liberty to not wear a mask. That's stupid, but whatever, it is what it is. So it's sad that that's happened, but I talk about all that and talk about Hannah Waters, the young lady who posted the picture of kids in that Georgia high school who were all crowded in that hallway, nobody wearing a face mask. Now she getting death threats. That is ridiculous. I'm like, come on, the girl getting death threats. Then I'm looking at the comments and stuff, and they were saying, yeah, she's getting death threats. The one girl was saying, I'm from this community. I know it's very conservative. And she said that the Republican community was mad because she gave the liberal media ammo. Really? So let me get this straight. You're not mad that a whole bunch of kids was packed in a hallway where a lot of them could contract the coronavirus, maybe probably die, take it home to their parents who will maybe probably die. That doesn't upset you. You're not mad about that. You're mad that somebody took a picture of it and exposed it to the world because now, you know what I'm saying, the liberals are in their liberal media talking about you. What is going on around here? Are people that stupid? Are people that crazy? This whole thing has really turned into some gang stuff. And I used to talk about it all the time. I put it in a rhyme that I wrote back in the day, and I was like, you know what I'm saying, this is gangbang politics, red states and blue states. And that's what it is now. Nowadays, now back then when I said it, I think Barack Obama was running for the first time, and that's when I used that term. It's gangbang politics, red states and blue states. That's what's going on right now. This is gangbang politics, and it's taken on a whole new form because we have a president who is just a horrible, horrible person. And, there's no other way to say it. So, this stuff has really went to a crazy place. So, sad as that is, it is what it is. Upset that the libs have ammo. Not upset that kids could get sick, that adults could get sick, that people could get sick. Not upset about about public health being compromised. Upset about how it looks in the media. Anyway, moving on. Let's talk about hip-hop. And usually I save pop culture stuff and music stuff at the end of the show because this is a political show. I like to keep it political, but this actually is political because pop culture usually bleeds over into social issues and stuff like this, as does this. So I want to bring up a couple of things. Number one, I was watching the internet and I saw Dr. Umar. This is a very smart brother, very intelligent brother. I think he has like 2 degrees in psychology or sociology, one of the two. I'm not sure. Very smart guy. And he was talking about he was saying he needs to be a tax on gangster rappers. That trivia out. He said 25% of sales need to go to the black community, and then he said 25% for the degrading and disparaging the culture. And there needs to be a black community development tax. That's interesting. That is interesting, and that's definitely a debate that should be had in the black community, because I guess you could definitely make a case how some of these lyrics have led to some of the things going on in our neighborhoods. It just is what it is. I hate to be one of those people who wants to sit back and say, I blame Hollywood, I blame movies, I blame music for the way that our young are acting or for the problems in our community. But you have to give some of these different outlets some of the blame. In this country, we do glorify criminals. That's just how it is. We've always glorified criminals in America. And whether it's mafia movies or whatever, there's something about us liking the bad guy in this country. We just do. A lot of times, I mean, we like the good guy too, but a lot of times in America, people like the bad guy, the hard guy, the bad ad. And that's the reason why we have the president we have too, because a lot of people view him that way, which is lame. And if you know anything, there's a lot more to being a man than being hard and being mean. A big part of being a man is being compassionate, you know, and being there for the people who love you and all of that good stuff. But that's just an American thing. We're in love with the criminal around here. We're in love with crime. We're in love with the gun in this country. So you get a lot of that. So I don't want to put all the blame on hip hop or all the blame towards rap, but some of it does need to go there. A friend of mine, his name, I'll just use his friend Jeff. I haven't seen him in years. It's a good friend of mine. I grew up with him, and he had this E40 tape, and I love E40. Oh, I love E40. Back then, I was a lukewarm E40 fan, and I think it was called Game Related. That's the name of the album, Game Related. And he gave me, not I'll say anything. I'm gonna tell you two stories about this music, but anyway, he gave me this tape. And I said, you know, he said, yeah, you take this, Ed. He said, because I can't keep listening to this. I said, what you mean? He said, if I keep listening to that E40, I'm going to be out here doing some crimes. He said, because all he talk about is money and getting paid. And if I keep listening to that, I can't do that. And I think at the time he's about to have a baby. He said, man, I'm supposed to be having a daughter. He said, I can't do this. He's like, I can't listen to that. And I said, okay, well, you know, give it to me. I said, you know what I'm saying? Because I was like, E40, I mean, I've heard of the guy. I wasn't that big a fan. I love him now, thanks to that tape and some other stuff I've heard from him. But, yeah, you know what I'm saying? I said, let me get it or whatever, because I'm like, I'm not that suggestible. And I get it. E40 is that dude, gang related. I mean, you know what I mean? He had a whole lot of what I call the dope flow. You know what I'm saying? A lot of brothers who are in hip hop, they have that story. They were in the streets, and like I've also talked about on this show, I think that story is important. Black people were, a lot of us are ashamed of that. We're ashamed of that street piece, but we can't leave it out because it is a part of us. Because there was a time during Reconstruction when they wouldn't give us jobs in their shops. You know, they wouldn't let us put on suits and ties and work in their establishments. They made fun of us when we tried to dress up and get these jobs. So a lot of brothers turned towards the streets and they fed their families. I am not glamorizing that. I'm not okay in that. I'm just saying that is what it is. That is a piece of our history. And we can't act like that didn't happen, and we can't act like that's not a piece of the story, especially when it comes to our music. So yeah, there's a place in hip hop and gangster rap. What happened was, you know, the industry kind of took control of it, and then it got to the point to where like, oh, the NWA is blowing up, or they're talking about pimps and hoes, then that's all we're gonna promote. That's it. And there was a time when there's variety in this thing called hip hop, rap, whatever. That don't exist no more. There is no variety. All you're getting is, and a lot of people are getting mainstream. My brother was talking about that the other day. If you Google hip hop, you're not gonna get hip hop. You're probably gonna get a lot of mainstream rap. That's why I said we need to come up with different genres for this thing called hip hop, called R&B. There's swag rap. We got drill. We got all types of stuff. I'm working on that. It ain't easy. Anyway, though, there's some truth to that. You know what I mean? This music does get in people. Another piece about that same tape. I had that tape, and a buddy of mine, I've talked about him on the show, my dude Red. He's not with us anymore. He passed away. But he was gangster. You know what I'm saying? As they say in WA. And I had a whole, my whole glove compartment was full of tapes back in them days. Back in the day, people listening to tapes. I probably had like 20, 30, 40, 50 tapes in my glove compartment. You open it up, they just be out coming out. And I had Tribe Called Quest. I had J. Rue the Damager. I had KRS-One. I mean, I just had all that good hip hop. Red didn't want to hear anything except E40 game related. That's all Red wanted to hear. And me and him ended up taking a trip to Kentucky. So for 2 hours, all we listened to was E40 game related. But that was the music, you know what I mean, that he grew up with, you know, that he liked, that he respected, that he wanted to hear. So we just listened to it. And that was fine with me, of course, because, you know what I'm saying, I like I said, at that point, I was an E40 fan because I had already listened to that tape 30,000 times. So that's something to think about, though. You know what I'm saying? Should we be charging these guys? Recently, I haven't gotten into it, but there was some beef with a hip hop producer. I can't remember his name right now, but they were kind of calling for the boycotting of him. And some of these guys out here, some of our new school MCs, they got stuff with them. I don't know what's up with that. I want to do a little research on that before we talk about that on the show. But I'm gonna bring that to you too. But we'll see what's up with that. But a lot of that just goes toward black unity. We don't have that. I hate to say never had it, never will. There was a time when we had it, you know, probably before integration, but we haven't had it really in any type of way since then. So that's a problem. Moving on, we're going to talk about Megan Thee Stallion and Cardi B. WAP does not stand for worship and praise. It stands for wet. This is a family show, so that's about as far as I'm going with that. It stands for wet. And it came out. It blew everybody away. It blew the internet on its collective behind. I've seen the video. I think it's cool. It is what it is. A lot of people are upset about it. There's been a lot of talk about it. It's a new age for women, and I think people are upset about that. But they just need to get hip with it, or get hip. You know what I'm saying? Get up with that. Women are throwing off the double standard. And I remember back in the day, I remember telling my little sister, I was like, oh yeah, it is what it is. You know, the double standard is not right. It isn't fair. It's not correct. But it is what it is. If I go out here and I have sex with 100 women, I'm a player and a Mac and a pimp. And you know what I'm saying? And that guy is just, he off the chain. He ain't no joke. Oh, he got a mouthpiece. All these positive things. If you as a woman go out here and have sex with 100 men, you use goods. You damage goods. You know, you're a whore, you're a hooker, you're a slut, nobody wants you. So, and that's wrong. That's not fair. And I think women have just gotten sick of that. They just sick of it. They're just not taking it anymore. They're like, for real, if that guy can go out there and do all that good stuff, then I can do whatever I want to do with my body just as well. He's a human being who got needs and wants. I'm a human being who has needs and wants, and I should be able to express those the way I see fit. What do you want with that? You know what I call that? A new day for women. Oh well, get hip, bruh. It's a new day for women. And that's what I say to a lot of brothers my age and older who have a problem with this. I'm like, come on, man, get up with that. You know, women owning their sexuality. There it is. They owning their sexuality. You can't be mad at that, because that's got to be annoying. You know, to have to be a woman who has to eat. I mean, women have to be kind of in this place to where, you know, I'm a human being, so obviously I've had sex. You know, if she's a woman, she's a human being, obviously she's probably had sex with a man. But you know, to admit that or to say that and didn't have to put a number on it, kind of would, you know, then any man has, you know, saying he kind of gets to be in a place of looking down on you. Why? That's not fair and that's ridiculous. So women are just done with that. You know, they're not going to be ashamed anymore. Back in the day, what was it? Amber Rose had that walk of shame where, you know, really just, you know, getting rid of that. Just what they say, slut shaming, no slut shaming. I hear that. I can understand that. I really can, being a man, I can understand that. Because like I said, how long are they going to have to live under that? You know, how long is it going to be that double standard? You know, and it's not fair that it's like that. You know, it really just, it ain't fair that it's like that. So women are like, yeah, we're not doing that anymore. There's a lot of younger women being straightforward. I talked about that on the show too. I've seen a lot of young female comedians a while ago, and I was just really impressed with how these ladies are just talking about everything, talking about things you never hear women talk about, talking about things you never even hear a woman comedian talk about, being straightforward about men's performance or lack thereof in the bedroom and other places. I'm impressed by that, because I'm like, once again, it's a new age for women. You know, that's just women saying, hey, look, you know, we're a woman, hear us roar, and numbers too big to ignore. So there it is. You know, so hats off to you ladies. You know, keep it moving, shoot. You know what I'm saying? Explore that sexuality. And with all that, I'll say, hey, look, there's a time and a place for everything under the sun. I'm gonna say it again for those who did not hear me. Feel me on that. There is a time and a place for everything under the sun. It talks about that in the Bible. So that means for that video and that song WAP, there's a time and a place for that. The time is probably when kids are in bed and little ears are not around, and the place is probably in some headphones so that they ain't blaring and people can't hear it across the yard or anything like that. I mean, you know, because there's something to be said about respecting others. I tell people that all the time. I'm a guy, I love vulgar music. I have an album called Vulgarity. I have Vulgarity Volume 1 and 2. My album. It's on the internet. Check it out. But there's a time and a place for everything. When I do this show, this is a family show. I don't have any cursing on this show. I try not to bring up lewd topics. This is a pretty lewd topic, but I'm taming it down here for the family. You know, because I want this to be a show that people can watch with their kids, and this is a serious show. I'm talking about serious things. I'm very serious about the politics. I love it. It's entertaining, but this is serious things because people live and die by some of this legislation. So there's a time and a place for everything. You know, when I'm doing a hip-hop song or a rap song, I'm over here talking about something that probably is pretty illicit, something that probably is, probably is pretty racy, you know, pretty dicey. But that's the beautiful thing about music. I tell people that all the time. A song is just a feeling and a moment in time. That's what you're getting with a song. You're getting the snapshot of how somebody felt in one single moment in time. A second, somebody felt like this, and they captured it in a song, and that's what you're getting. So think about that. How many seconds are there in a lifetime? I'm sure there's some math on that. Somebody could tell you that. If you know, if the average person lives 70, 80 years, how many seconds are in 80, 70, 80 years? But that's what you're getting from a song. You're just getting one of them seconds that they got this thought that they had, and boom, now it's on paper. So with that said, you know what I'm saying? We got to take all this stuff with a grain of salt. People shouldn't be getting bent out of shape about this because this is just a new age womanry, you know? But I do pose a question to you because there are a lot of people who, when they do get bent out of shape about this, their thing is that, well, you can't be perceived as being a woman or having any respect for yourself or respect for others if you could talk this way and walk around looking like that. I think some people are actually intimidated by their bodies. I heard a woman on the news talking about that, and she was saying black and brown bodies can be intimidating. That blew me away. I never thought about that. But I was watching a very old woman watch the WAP video. I think it was a TikTok video or something, and she was looking at it and she was liking it. She was jamming to it. I mean, it's very old. This was probably like 80 some years old, and she said, "I ain't never seen a woman built like these women," you know, because she's probably like, "Are these, what are these robots?" Nah, these are women who have a whole lot of money and a whole lot of stylists and makeup and a whole bunch of other stuff going on to make them look that way. But that's just my point. It's different. Like she said, I've never seen no women looking like that. Never seen no women looking like that or talking like that. It's 2020. Things have changed. With that said, though, there's a song that my brother sampled back in the day, and I think we used it in a hip hop album that we did. And the lady says, girls, you can't do what the guys do know and still be a lady. That's what she said. You can't do what the guys do know and still be a lady. So I pose that question to you. Is that real? Is that right? You know what I'm saying? Can women not do what guys do and still be a lady? Are you still a lady? If you take ownership of your sexuality and you go out here and you have sex with a whole bunch of men or whatever and you don't hide it and you're open about it, is that you owning your sexuality or is that you being a whore? Or is there a fine line between it? Or is there no line between it? I don't know. Once again, you in the pushback zone, so please push on back and let me know what's good. Let me know what's hood. Because like I said, I feel like, women should have that freedom to be able to do what they want to do. Because they are human beings. They do have needs. They do have wants. A friend of mine always said that too. But he said, Ed, think about this. Your woman is just like you. You like attention. You want to go out and be looked at by girls and have them talking about you and be next to women and feel a woman's touch and all that. She's just like you. She feeling just like you. And I tell our brothers that too. Imagine that your woman doing all the stuff you doing when she ain't around you. That blow you away, wouldn't it? She's a human being too. Why wouldn't you? Anyway, moving on. Let's talk about Kamala. Kamala Harris, Biden's VP. He did good. Joseph Biden did good. He finally went ahead, settled down on Kamala. He got her in there already. She done came out going at the Trumpster. She's good at it. She's poised. She's ready for prime time. She's hungry. She's getting it in. I think it was 8/11 when he made the announcement. I got it because I follow him on Twitter, and he did it over Twitter, and it was good. The right don't know what to do. They claiming that she's radical, a radical leftist. No, she's been in the Senate for a hot second or for a little while now, for long enough for people to know she is not a radical leftist. So that didn't work coming from the right. Then they were going to say she's tough on crime. or she's soft on crime. Is she tough on crime or is she soft on crime, GOP? Do y'all know? They don't know. They want to say she's soft on crime. She's no friend of police. Really? But then they're like, look at all the people that she threw in jail. Look at all the black men she threw in jail. So the left said, oh, she is a friend of police. She's no friend of the black man. She's no friend of the little guy. She's on the right. And then they were saying that a lot of Republicans do have a favorable view of her. They said a lot of Republicans have a more favorable view of her than Joe Biden. Wow. I guess so, though, because Joe Biden was Barack Obama's vice president for 8 years. So they've been hating Barack Obama. Of course they hate Joe Biden, but now added her, and they said a lot of them have a positive view of Kamala. And I bet a lot of that has to go with her record as a prosecutor, which is a lot of reason why the left don't like her. This woman just might be in a perfect position, hated by everybody. The left is mad at her, the right is mad at her, but that gets you right there in the middle. That's a good place to be. Hold up, let's keep it going here. This is how you know that she's a threat. Birtherism is back. The birther king, he at it again. That's what my man Al Sharpton calls Trump. That's who he is, the birther king. You know, when he came out there trying to say Barack Obama's not even an American. I think he's a Kenyan. I think he was born in Kenya. Now they coming at Kamala Harris talking about she was born somewhere else. That's ridiculous. And then it's interesting because Trump didn't even come up with this on his own. I was watching the press conference. Pay attention. And the reporter, she asked him that. She brings that up to him, and he's like, "Oh, really? I didn't." He's like, "I would imagine that the Democrats would have, figured that out. You know, she's eligible to run, but you're saying she wouldn't be eligible because she wasn't born in America." Oh, okay. Why would they give him that? So that almost seems like a setup. I don't know who set that up or what's going on with that, but that was real interesting how she said that, and then boom, that kind of started. But there's a lot of people who've come out against that, and they're like, cut that out. I've even seen a lot of Republicans, they're like, dude, don't even go there anymore, because that is extremely racist, and that's just a no-no. You know, and you just don't do that, man. We're not going down that road again. But, of course, you know what I'm saying, he's pulling it out of his bag of tricks. It's crazy because she was born in Oakland, born in America, obviously. She is half black and half, I think, Indian, but she's 100% born in Oakland, so she's 100% American. You know what I'm saying? He's scared. Trump is scared. He's scared of all this black girl magic. Been a whole lot of black girl magic in politics lately. Sisters seamlessly taking us to the next level of this thing. Really, and I gotta give respect where respect is due. Black Lives Matters. That's a bunch of sisters. That's 3 sisters doing their thing. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, taking us where we need to be. Whether you agree with it or you disagree with it, like I said, I agree with the sentiment Black Lives Matter. I don't necessarily agree with the movement. Whatever you want to say, these women came up with it. It's become a part of the normal conversation on the news. It's a part of the conversation in the body politic. And it's here to stay. It's it's in big letters. Excuse me, it's in big letters in Washington and New York and other major cities. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. You know, and like I said, I don't necessarily support that organization, but or that movement, but that sentiment, it does my heart good to see that, because black lives do matter. They more than matter. They're important, but they matter. Let's at least say that. Let's at least get that understood that they matter. So there's that, you know what I'm saying? And that was by, 3 sisters. So, once again, that's women. I think it was Jesse Jackson, I'm paraphrasing here. He said that black women have always been the great managers. He said they've always had to do the most with the least. And that is true. When you think about black mothers and stuff like that, they've always had to feed a bunch of kids with no money and no resources. But somehow they did it. The Black Panthers, 75% of their leadership was women. Why was that? Because they knew that women were organizers. When I read an article, and I think that's what they had said. They said we gave these women these positions because we knew they've already done it. They've already managed households. They've already managed children. You know, Black Panthers, when they came up with the Head Start program, I'm sure that was a woman who said, "Hey, if we feed these kids, they'll probably do better in school. It ain't rocket science. You know, I'm not a chemist, but she said." If you put some food in these babies' guts, they'll probably be able to learn something and stay in that classroom. So there you go. You know what I'm saying? But I digress. Moving on. It's crazy that I wish P. Diddy and Charlamagne the God watched my show, because they gonna get on Twitter and they gonna talk about we would love for Nina Turner to be Joe Biden's vice president. I already talked about that on the show. I would have loved that. I love Nina Turner. She's the bomb. She's great. That wasn't gonna happen. There's a lot of stuff that kind of went down when she was being a surrogate for Bernie Sanders that she said about Joe Biden. So that just wasn't going to happen. It isn't going to happen. But it's funny they would put that out there. I feel them. They want to put their love and affection for Nina out there. I'm right there with them. She's great. She would be great for that job. Are you serious? Vice President Nina Turner? Wowzers. But yeah, that's just not going to happen. But Kamala's good, so we're going to roll with that. But like I said, I wish they watched the show, because they would have known. I talked about that weeks ago, you know. But anyway, great minds think alike. Anyway, the Good Humor song, we've all heard it. The ice cream song the kids hear all the time, that you hear all the time, that I hear all the time, and you know, immediately start salivating like one of Pavlov's dogs because you want some ice cream. Yeah, that song is extremely racist. I've talked about it here on the show. It's crazy racist. It goes by two names. I would imagine the first name is the actual name that the guy gave it, because I'm sure for him to write this song, he was a raving racist. And then the other song name is probably the name that the label gave it when they were actually trying to go and put the song out, because they said this one name was just... So the first name of the song is Every Good Nigga Loves Watermelon. That's the name of the song, you know, and like I said, I'm sure that's probably the name that the dude who wrote the song gave it. And the other name is Turkey in the Straw. Turkey in the Straw. So those are the two names for that racist jingle. I guess Good Humor called the RZA up and said, hey man, we gotta do something about this. So there's another song that the RZA did that's gonna take the place of this song, and they said that it'll be free forever to all ice cream trucks forever, for all of eternity, to get rid of that song for all of eternity. Good stuff. That sounds like something trivial. That sounds like something stupid. That's something you would not see reported on TV, but I think it's good. I think it's something that needs to happen. I think it's great. And I think it's amazing that they went and got the RZA. I'm dying to hear it. I'm going to go to YouTube and check it out. Well, I'm looking now. Guess what? I'm out of time. As usual, I didn't get to everything that I wanted to get to, but it's okay. We'll do it again. Urban Politics. Please subscribe. If you like what you're seeing, tell a friend. You know what I'm saying? And they can get it in with me. Urban Politics. I'm your humble host, Phys Ed Music. As always, see you around like a donut.